Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Courtside with Christy and Gabe on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. I am Christy Winters-Scott, joined as always by my guy, Gabe Ibrahim. Gabe, so many fantastic collegiate level games to discuss, but also mind-boggling WNBA free agency news that is ongoing and intriguing to say the least.
You know, I thought for some reason, and I was so wrong, I thought today was not going to be like this huge news day. Like I knew we were going to get like the official signings, and then, you know, we're going to talk around. Richard Cohen was breaking some salaries. I broke some salaries. You know, we had Her Hoop Stats really value that. That's why you should be following us on Twitter at Her Hoop Stats. You should be subscribed right here on YouTube or on our podcast feed. And you should, like, our Twitter names will pop up so you can follow us both on Twitter. But yeah, so I was like, you know, hey, like, you know, I've been through the circus, right? I've been to the circus. Like, I know what it's going to be like. This is like year 3 for me. But man, the thing went crazy. it went crazy from the moment. This morning we had a press release that was wrong for Jonquel Jones, and we had all this. So yeah, we're gonna have to start here on the, if you're listening on the audio only podcast, we're starting with WNBA free agency. If you're on YouTube, we're gonna do the thing where we split up the WNBA stuff and the college stuff for you guys, because we know you guys all have your interests. But oh God, what a day. Okay, do you want to move over to college basketball? Because we did an entire podcast, and again, now we're going to do another entire podcast. Let's move over to college basketball, where currently, literally at the second, the Miami Hurricanes are up by 3 points on the number 4 team in the country, the Louisville Cardinals. I've only been like briefly looking at this game, but the Canes have kind of been in control the second half. Oh, sorry.
Somebody missed a shot.
Kelsey Marshall missed a shot. It happens a lot in Miami, but I've told you guys on multiple occasions, the frisky Canes, they're frisky. They'll sneak up on you. You're not worried.
Close games this year.
You might get upset. And same with the Hogs. The Hogs, not a game that we have on our schedule here, but almost snuck up on Tennessee without their best player for most of the game. So a little frisky. The Hogs and the Canes. Gabe's teams, they're frisky. The thing I wanted to get into though first was the Wooden Award released their top 20 lists for late season. I don't think I need to read off all of these names, but you know, it's the people you expect to be on this list, right? We have Shakira Austin, we have Aliyah Boston. Boston and Austin rhyme. We have bars. I'm just spitting. We got Cameron Brink on this list, Caitlin Clark on this list, Lisa Cunane, Destiny Henderson, Jordan Hurston, Ryan Howard, Ashley Jones, Haley Jones, they both spell their last names differently. Ayoka Lee has to be on this list. Anissa Morrow is on this list. And then we have 2 Maryland Terrapins, Ashley Wusu and Angel Reese on this list. And rounding it out on the alphabetical order I have it on is Melissa Smith. I didn't mention everyone, like I didn't mention Naz Hillmon, but just like these are the best top 20 players in the country. Yeah. Do you have like a top 3? I think I have a top 3.
Wow. Ooh, that's, those lists, it's tough for me.
So what's your reaction? We could start with your reaction to the list, and then I'll give you some time to marinate.
I appreciate it, because I can't narrow things like that down like that. It takes me some time, but I love the list. I think there's no one I think that was snubbed, although Diamond Miller being healthy all year, I think she would be on that list had she been healthy. I think just with that being said, Caitlin Clark with her 4 triple doubles this season, they didn't get that wrong. And Melissa Smith, I told you once I saw her in person at the Maryland game earlier in the year in November, legit, just flat out problem and pro ready. So, just off the top, in no order, but just off the top, just the the talent on that list. I mean, the game is in great hands when you look at that list and think about it, but then also factor in that there are some players who aren't healthy, like a Diamond Miller, who could also easily get a Sharpie and put her on there too. So, but I like that list. I think it's solid. I think all those players' names are going to be called in the WNBA draft at some point, and that's going to be fun to watch when they get to the next level as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking here. I mean, well, so Mackenzie Holmes on this list, and I actually there was during the Indiana game, it was like very briefly mentioned that she may come back this year, and I think we thought she was mostly done for the year because she has a knee injury, I believe, meniscus.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak out of turn. She's hurt, and I thought she was gonna be out for the year, but it turns out that she may be ready by conference tournament time, which would be huge. So obviously she's on the Wooden Award late season top 20 list, and she hasn't played for the last like 3 or 4 games. So she's up there for a reason. It made me a little sad, like looking at her name, because I want her to be on the court. I'll give you my top 3 though. I'll give you my top 3. I'll go Aliyah Boston. Best player on the best team. I know she's got a lot of talent around there, but she's pushing them to where they are. I think that's there. I think Ayoka Lee, man. I mean, he scored 61 points in the game. How are you gonna keep her off the top 3 of this list? Like she's doing. I said this last week. I want to say it again. She's doing it with one leg. She's got the biggest brace I've ever seen in my life on one of her legs.
She's laboring with it. Yeah.
I'm just like, so she's got to be on that. No disrespect to anyone else, but so I got Boston. I got Lee. And I don't know how you keep Caitlin Clark off this list at this point. I mean, she had 43 the other night.
Insane.
She had the shrug. She had the Jordan shrug. You're right. She's so pro ready she could play in the WNBA tomorrow. And she just has that. I don't know. We talk about the great players, right? They just have that
moxie.
The it that's not, you can't define it. You can't. She has it. That being said, I think Iowa's struggles in winning these games because she had 43 and they lost to Ohio State. I think that's going to cost her a little bit in these awards. But I think she has to be in my top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely in the top 3. And I think, that game, I was on that game, the Iowa-Ohio State game last night. And
oh God, Louisville just hit a go-ahead 3. Sorry.
Oh, darn it. How much time?
56 seconds.
What's the count?
Chelsea Hall. Of course, she was wide open.
Score?
It's 65-63. Haley Van Lift just whipped a pass to the corner. Damn. All right. That's fine. I went to Miami, folks. So obviously
all
right.
It's all good.
Sorry for interrupting you, Christy.
No, you're good. Hey, I was just going to say, there were a lot of eyeballs on that game last night because of her star power. And, Kevin Durant is a big fan of hers. We actually gave him a shout out a couple of times last night. Our producer, Matt, was saying that, check Katie's burner accounts to see if he's tweeting about the game. And I got that and it was really funny. But anyway, but just a lot of eyes on her just because they're mesmerized with her stature and her ability to do what she does. And her footwork is impeccable to get to her shots. The fact that she's leading the country in scoring and assist. I mean, who does that? She also averages 8 boards a game from the guard position. So let's go. I mean, she is a workhorse and last year led the country in scoring. So you would think, hey, this kid led the country in scoring. Let's go ahead and clamp down on her. And here she is doing it again as a sophomore.
You can't.
So, I mean, she's different. And
let's go.
Oh, what happened?
Angels took the lead.
What's the count?
Mitchell, 66-65, 45 seconds left. I'll have a reaction to every shot made. Don't worry.
Is Katie in her hair? Katie Meyer, is she in her hair?
I can't. She's not on the screen right now. I'm sure she is. That's her go-to.
She's gotta be in her hair. That's my girl.
Oh, Louisville just scored right back at them. Louisville has a 1-point lead. We got a timeout for the Canes. Go into the summer.
Okay, a timeout. I was gonna say you can just go ahead and tell us as it's going, but as a timeout, so we will wait. But you gotta, because I'm not watching it. But I would love to be. But you gotta, give me all of the goodies on what's happening in that one.
Also, NC State is losing to Notre Dame.
What? What's the count on that? Tell us the count. Keep us updated, Gabe.
That one is 65-69 Notre Dame at the moment. 43 seconds left. So Notre Dame looking more, they're in control. They're in control. Wait. Did I miss something again? The score keeps changing. Can we get a correct score, ESPN?
Oh, see. Uh-oh.
Okay, I think it's a 3-point game. Notre Dame has a 3-point lead. Louisville has a 1-point lead on Miami. I'm sure this is riveting to you, person who knows already what has happened in these two games because you're listening to this tomorrow morning.
Oh, after the fact, yeah.
Whatever, we're having a great time.
Hey, we're watching live. So let us live.
Back to Caitlin Clark. Or who were we talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about Caitlin and, just Iowa losing that game and how that may impact her individually. And, there are just a couple of situational things at the end of that game. It looked like McKenna Warnock had the ball and there was some contact by Ricky Harris and it wasn't called. And there was some confusion when the buzzer went off. There was time left, whose possession, whose ball it was and all of that. But Ohio State got that win after being dominated by Michigan in the game previous to that. So it was a good bounce back road win for Ohio State, but a tough loss for Iowa at home in conference play. And if you think about it, Ohio State beat Iowa twice last season. One game was in overtime. And then, so the last 3 games in a row now. Ohio State
my God. We threw it away.
What? How much is Katie in her hair?
Katie's definitely in her hair. I'm almost in my hair. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Kelsey Marshall.
How much time?
There's 17 seconds left and there's a jump ball, but it's possession Louisville. So we're going to have an inbound and a foul and then it'll be a 3-point game. Luckily, Miami's one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But it sounds exciting though. ACC hoops is, doing it tonight. Sounds like it. Big Ten last night, ACC tonight.
I want to talk more about the Big Ten because I did not expect this. If I had known that Miami would be in this game, I probably wouldn't have scheduled this podcast right now. But I think it's really a testament to how talented the current group of college players is. Like I mentioned a bunch of names, and we haven't talked about Ryan Howard, who is the presumable number 1 pick. We haven't really gotten to Melissa Smith, the presumed number 2 pick. So, and you look up and down this list and there's just amazing player after amazing player. We haven't really even talked about Naz Hillmon, although we will now because we're going to talk about our Michigan team. But, Liz Kitley, I didn't even mention her, and she's one of the best players in the country from Virginia Tech. So I think the game's in very good hands and the future of the WNBA looks great. And the present of college basketball looks great because we're talking about like Paige Beckers has been out all season. And, this list is just as impressive as if she was on this list,
Yeah, no doubt about it. I just think, when you're talking about the future of the game on any level, right? I think it's just been fun that these young ladies have been motivated by the WNBA, by the Olympians, and they're going out and they're doing the thing. I mean, they're killing it and, making us know their names. And I think with players like Naz Hillmon and Michigan, who has twice this season beaten top 5 teams, they beat Baylor in overtime without Naz on the floor. Okay. Caveat on that. But then, to turn right back around and beat Indiana, another top 5 team this season, I think speaks volumes to what Kim Barnes-Rico is doing there. And it's not, Naz Hillmon is fantastic. I don't know if you saw her footwork in that Indiana game. She was just going to town in the paint. But she is just so well-versed and confident, and her skill set just exudes the experience that you want to see from a senior. So player of the year last year in the Big Ten. Michigan continues to rise in the polls. And now they're going to go up again because they beat Indiana, who was ahead of them. They were 5-6. So I just think it's great. And as the Big Ten season continues to unfold, it'll be fun to watch tournament, which I think is going to be insanely good once again in Indy in March. What happened?
The Canes lost. They ran a hammer action for Kelsey Marshall, and she Louisville had it stuffed out. Big hug between the coaches there. Oh God, I feel so bad for Katie.
So
These
many close games.
God, those games.
So many. I don't know how many. Under 5 points. Like a lot of games this season for Miami, under 5-point losses, but they have been right there all year long.
They just
right?
fight. They
do fight.
That the one thing, and I'm not saying Katie Meyer is a perfect coach. I'm not saying the men's coach for Miami, Coach Jim Larinaga, is a great coach. But man, the one thing you always get from those two squads is they work their butts off and they fight in every game. And they haven't been the best. They haven't been the best team in the country, but I appreciate the fight. But good Lord,
it's tough.
That is
brutal.
Tough. That is brutal stuff. Okay. Back to Indiana, Michigan, which, as you mentioned, just really impressive win for Michigan. I've been kind of not anti-Michigan, skeptical of Michigan since the beginning of the season. And they just continue to pull out these wins. Now, as I mentioned, no Mackenzie Holmes for Indiana.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
She's their best player, and they're without that big presence inside, partially allowing Naz Hillmon to get 21 points. Naz gets 21 points though, kind of easily on anyone. So, right. But it was tough on the glass without Holmes for Indiana. Michigan won the rebounding battle by 32. They just locked it down in the third quarter with the 16-6 run. So really impressive win for Michigan. I'm not too worried about Indiana if they can get Holmes back. If they can't get Holmes back, that's just kind of what it is. And it's disappointing because this is a top 5 team with her on the court, and they play valiantly, but they didn't have the horses here. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Naz Hillmon, the prospect, and we'll talk more about her as a prospect going forward. I think me and Twitter folks like me, aka nerds, we're a little bit lower on her than the general public just because she is a post. And just because, she's not like this super, not like an Alyssa Smith, for example, this super athletic posty player. So I have since gotten pushback on that from people who do this for a living, that she actually has great feet and that she could play the floor and that she can expand her game. Do you see that for her as well?
Absolutely. I mean, her footwork, you cannot understate what she's able to do at her size. Now, when you're talking about players,
Notre Dame pulled off the upset. I'm sorry.
Oh, they got him.
Wow. We have not watched that game. We have no idea what happened. So whatever they do on it.
Good job, Neil Ivy. That's my girl now.
Good for that. Back to Naz.
Yeah, back to Naz. No, her footwork is incredibly precise. And I think when you watch her, if you watch a Michigan game, don't look at the plays they're running. Don't look at, all of the X's and O's and things. When she gets the ball, watch how she works and maneuvers and makes reads at the drop of a hat. In blink of an eye, she is countering the counter move. And she is so quick at making decisive decisions inside that she's a nightmare to cover. And I don't care how tall you are. She's done that to players bigger than her, players smaller than her, try to go quick with matchups against her, and she eats that up too. I just think with her ability and her strength inside, I think she's pro level for sure. And I think a lot of people had Alyssa Thomas kind of in that same boat where she's so strong and powerful. She has great footwork. She can finish in the paint, but she can't shoot threes. I'm like, okay, not everybody needs to shoot threes. And I know analytically, I'm going to probably have some
nerd like me. You could say it. Some nerd like me.
No, the analytics are what they are. But I'm saying okay, but what can she do? Okay, let's not worry about the things that she doesn't have. Let's talk about what she does have. And what she does have is tough. And what she does have is tough to guard on any level. She did USA basketball in the summer last year, player of the year in the conference, and is ripping up things and moving Michigan up the ranks all season long in the AP poll. So, for me, I'm not concerned with what her transition to the WNBA will look like. I think she's going to be an outstanding pro. I think you can go back in the day when Charles Barkley, he's playing inside, he's 6'6", blah, blah, blah. And I know the game is different, but there was some skepticism on him being too small to play inside. But I think it was his heart, which she has, his hustle, which she has, and great footwork, which she has, and a tremendous motor. You can't coach that. You can't coach motor. And I, as a coach, I know that. You know the kids who have the motor, you know the kids who don't. And the kids who have the motor, those are the kids that get on the floor. Because even if they make mistakes, they're going to make up for it in a big way. Kids without a motor, they're going to pout and drop their head and sulk about it and be in their feelings. She doesn't do that. She's like right here, steadfast, intentional, just on it and dedicated to her craft. And that's why she's going to be a good pro. Not just a good pro. I think she's going to be a great pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to counter with the obvious argument that she is too small to play in the post. I think she's just too small to play in the post full time, because you're looking at, Naz is like 6'2", right? Mm-hmm. 6'2" is her measured height. You look at someone like A'ja Wilson, who's 6'4", and she's a 4 in Vegas. I'm sure the other places she'll be a center, yada, whatever. But you get what I'm saying? Like, she's too small to be a center. She's going to need to be a 4. I've heard, I don't think if she can do something like Alyssa Thomas, and it's not like impossible. I think her handle needs a lot of work and she would need to get much faster. But as you mentioned, she does have a motor, and that's something that comes up every time you talk about Naz Hillmon. Every time, everyone says great attitude, great motor, and those two will keep you in the league for a long time.
Keep you in the league
for sure. But I don't. If she turns into Alyssa Thomas, that'd be a departure from what we've seen. But it's not. It's totally possible. I agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. But I have heard the comparisons I've heard are Rita Hebard, who's a good player, not a great player, and Rashonda Gray. Just a little bit more mobile than that. And both those players are useful, but I need a little bit more from Naz to really spend the top 5 pick on her, because I think there's players in this draft who probably have a lower floor, so there's more risk, but there's a higher ceiling, and that's what I'm looking for, the ceiling when we talk about draft picks. Okay. So
what more do you need to see? What more do you need to see from her? What's missing?
I need her to drive more from the elbow. I need to see that on a consistent basis. That's what I'm looking for. If you're a big that's small, you got to be able to play in the high post, because then we can do stuff with you. You don't have to shoot threes. It'd be great if she shot threes, and she could totally learn. But you don't have to. What I need you to do is be able to hit elbow jumpers and be able to pass from the elbows and play make from that position, and also make decisions in a short roll. I basically need you to be Bam Adebayo, if we're looking at an NBA perspective, or I need you to be an Alyssa Thomas without, that sort of transition game. You don't need that transition game. That's not replicable. But if you could do what she does in the short roll in terms of her playmaking, if you just take some pieces of that, that's where I'm comfortable saying, like, okay, this player who's a shorter post, if she can play in the high post, then hey, we're cooking. We can make an offense out of this. But if I have to post you up and you're small already, then I can't really do much with you as a center point. You would have to be the center point of my offense for me to get any value from you. So I think she would need to add. She needs to add to her game to be an all-star. Not that all the college kids have to add to their games to be all-stars, but I think she has some stuff to work on. But if you have a high motor and you have a good attitude, you're going to be in the league for a long time, and people are going to give you chances to come up with that stuff. So I don't know. I would probably take her a little bit lower than where she's been mocked. I've seen her mocked around like 4 or 3. I'd have like a few more players ahead of her, but I definitely, I'm not trying to like dismiss her in any way. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm trying to get my concerns mollified, and you have a little bit mollified those. You made them feel, maybe you'll feel a little bit better.
Oh, good. Because I really love her, and I have my eyes on her for, since she was a freshman. And so I think she's really just evolved, like from 6th player to second team to first team player of the year. Like, she's just made this progression, and she just hasn't been the same player from day one. And I think that speaks to her work ethic and her upside. Like you said, I mean, she has a tremendous upside, and she can get better at some of those things and make her a more versatile pro. But I think she's definitely going to be a pro. I don't think there's any questions about that. Sure. I just think that, the versatility piece. Yeah, I mean, easily. But the versatility piece, she can get that. I mean, Michael Jordan got to be more versatile when he got in the league, and you could say that for every other player as well. So, I mean, there's always growth.
Yeah.
As a pro, and you don't go in and leave the same way, just like you don't go into college and leave the same way you came in. So I think huge upside for Naz, but I'm excited, to see her in the WNBA.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the debates I'm going to have too, because I feel like not a lot of people think like me on this. Actually, I don't know. I think a lot of people online think like me, but in the real world's not Twitter. So there's a lot of people who would disagree. She's a great player though. And it doesn't, and look, when we talk about players, I just want to put last thing I want to say, like, just because we talk about players as prospects and I have some criticisms, does not make them any less great in college. It'll never, like, her legacy in college, honestly, if she never played another game in college, she would already be one of the greats, certainly in Michigan history, certainly in Big Ten history, and certainly one of the best we've watched. So it doesn't have anything, my concerns about her as a professional don't have anything to do with my love of watching her in college, just for the record.
Clarification.
I mean, that's all I got to do. Stanford beat Arizona, but I'm going to be honest, I was watching football. I'm sorry, folks. Like, I'm only human. I can't, there's only so much best. It was good.
I watched it. It was close. It was close. And there was, it was playoff football. So, I mean, you get a pass because it's playoff football, but, and Super Bowl implications on the line. I get it. I did watch that game, and it was a good one, clearly. And it went down to the wire. It was a rematch of the national championship game. And I just thought, Arizona just kind of ran out of steam at the end, and Stanford turned it up at the end. And that's the difference. Yeah. When you can close out the game with momentum and making plays on both sides, you're going to get the job done. And Tara Vanderveer, and coming off that national championship season, still getting the job done. So respect to her. But Aliyah Barnes-Copa, that's my girl. So she's out there too, giving it her best shot, and went from unranked to start the season to being in the top 10, top 15 all season long.
And also we did get someone at one point telling us that she doesn't go by Aliyah Barnes-Copa in like here, but that's like her name on Twitter. So yeah, I don't know if Aliyah, if you're listening.
I'll just call her Aliyah. I had to put her whole name out there because, professionally.
Well, it is her name on Twitter.
Whole name.
So Aliyah, if you want to let us know
exactly.
But regardless, she's a great coach. But I do think the Stanford team is just they kind of got that defending champion feel. Like, this is fine. Like whatever happens is fine. Like we're really good. We'll figure it out at the end of the game. Like Haley Jones went 2 for 12 in this game, and they won handily against the number 8 team in the country.
Right.
Oh, Cameron Brink too. Cameron Brink round in the corner to being the absolute the super mega star that we see in her.
Yeah, that second half she took over and really made a big difference for Stanford, and started taking it to the bucket, getting fouled, and that was the momentum I was talking about. In that second half, in the fourth quarter. She was a big piece of them getting that win.
She was. Okay, I'm looking at Twitter, making sure we don't have any last things to mention. If we missed anything, add us on Twitter, at me on Twitter. You don't say nice things to Christy and at me, because I like to argue with people. I haven't seen anything else that we need to mention. We'll probably have to talk about that NC State game next week, but regardless, I think this is a record for us. This may be our longest podcast. We're at 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh boy, this is a blockbuster. Oh my goodness. But I guess that means, Gabe, that they're cutting the lights out on us up in this thing, and we don't have to go home, but we got to get up out of here And, we would love to stay courtside with you until another time, but we're going to have to get out, and then get back in here next week and catch up with you guys. But it has been a true blast kicking it with you, my friend, on this edition of Courtside with Christy and Gabe right here on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. So much more ahead of us this season, and we cannot wait to continue to break down all things WNBA, all things NCAA women's hoops as we get through this season with excitement and intrigue. That's how we're going to leave it with y'all. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you next time. I'm Christy Winters-Scott, and that's Gabe Ibrahim. Deuces.